Well, welcome back to the Stadium of Light. We're delighted to tell you it's finished 2-1 to Sunderland in the opening game of EFL League One. It was a bit of a nervy second half. In terms of, I think, Danny, Sunderland were really on top for the majority of the game, but you know, when there's 6 minutes added on...
Yeah, you can hear the groans go up, really, because, as you mentioned there, you're 2-1 up, really. We've been pretty solid in the second half. They had one chance with Gwion Edwards, come off Lee Birds, and other than that, he was quiet. But while you're at 2-1, you're always keeping an eye on that clock, and you get a little bit nervy, and the lads at the back are dropping a little bit deeper, and you can hear the crowd saying, let's squeeze up a little bit. But I say we hung on as much, really. Lee Birds didn't have a save to make other than that one off Gwion Edwards, as we say. Delighted for Ross Stewart. I thought he was excellent throughout the 90 minutes. Really deserved his goal there. And it was quite a casual little header, wasn't it? Just held Charlie Wyckoff, just plonked it in the far corner. Gets us on our way with 3 points.
Sunderland are certainly on their way. We'll look back at the highlights now from the game. Danny, you can talk us through it. It was a frantic first half that got things underway, though, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, from the first whistle, really. As we said, it was surprisingly quite open. I thought, you might be a little bit cagey first game of the season, but they were quite bright. Wigan, I thought, 3 or 4 good opportunities. That one there, obviously, from the goal. I'm sure Lee Johnson will look at this and he'll pick the bones out of it. And it is disappointing how easy they got in down our left-hand side. But then we reacted straight away. Ross Stewart ball into him there. We've seen it a couple of times in pre-season. Does well. Squares the centre half up, and then Derinkwe trying to get back in to help him out. Makes a bit of a mess. Just runs into the back of him. Aidan McGeady steps up here now. A little stutter there. Slows it down. Keeper's on his way and gets us back on level terms. And that was vital for me there, because if we'd have gone another 10-15 minutes and we didn't start creating, and the crowd might be getting a little bit edgy. But no, it was good, and we finished that first half strong as well. 1 or 2 other opportunities, and then straight at the start of the second half, we were bright, because I said there, didn't I? We took too long sometimes to get out. We almost feel our way into second half, but we were bang on at it from the first whistle. Really, win the corner, and as I say there, Ross Stewart just leans on Charlie White there and just guides it into that far corner, and he deserved his goal. And there's another one here, and you're seeing him here. You fancy him get up above Derinkwe. Doesn't quite get the contact he's maybe after, and I think that's where he maybe got his nosebleed, but he's going to get a few of them during the season. And then this one would have wrapped it up, wouldn't it? Lyndon Gooch, again, another one for me. Give him praise for that. He was busy, he was energetic, he'd done well when he went to full-back later on, and he's unlucky there on his weaker left foot. We've seen him do that before. MK Dons a few seasons ago springs to mind, looking for that far corner, comes back off the bar. And then here, is it Aidan O'Brien, I think, gets in, just takes a little bit too long on it, because he slows it down. Derinkwe sees that Elliot Embleton's the only real option for him there, and the chance goes away. But overall, delighted, great start for us. People are obviously questioning, we haven't got the full-backs out there. We're coming up against an opposition who are maybe fancied by a few people and fans to be up there at the end of the season. But it's a good, solid start from us. You want to get 3 points on the board as early as you can. Settles a little bit of nerves for some of these boys coming into the squad. At the back, obviously Doyle as well, I mentioned him there. Again, solid, read the situation well. Flanagan as well alongside him. So praise throughout the team, really. And then we get ready to go again on Tuesday now.
Yes, we do, but before we get there, we're going to do hashtag Ask Danny here on the SAFC Live. We'll be doing that soon. Before we do that, let's go and look at the other scores from in and around EFL League One, if we can, please. So I haven't even checked these at half-time, Danny. We didn't get a chance. So that's the other scores, and as they stood just a few moments ago. So Bolton 3 with MK Dons, Cambridge United 1, Oxford United 1, Crewe 1, Cheltenham 1, Doncaster 1, AFC Wimbledon 2, Fleetwood 0, Portsmouth 1, Gillingham 1, Lincoln 1, Ipswich 2, Morecambe 2, Rotherham 2, Plymouth 0, Shrewsbury 0, Burton 1, Wickham 2, Accrington 1, Charlton 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0, because that hasn't kicked off yet.
Right, so I was going to say, but a few draws on there, obviously 6 if you include the bottom one, but it hasn't kicked off. So you got 5 draws, and you always expect that on the opening day of the season. But I mean, you can't look too much into results as of yet. But Rotherham there, solid start from them. I expected Rotherham and Wickham to win today, to be honest. And obviously we've matched them and picked up the 3 points as well.
I wonder if we can see the league table. The fans make their way out of the ball. There's still quite a few here. Normally dead by this point. There we go, that's the League One table. Sunderland sitting 3rd.
Yeah, as you say, you're obviously not lucky. It's nice to see yourselves up there, if you have a bad result and you don't want to see yourself down that bottom of the table too early on. But no, it's a good solid win. You're looking at Rotherham and Wimbledon's opposition there, which I did. Wickham's. expecting them to win. Obviously, coming back down from the Championship, they had home games against so-called lesser opposition in the league. But for ourselves to come up against a Wigan team who've done a lot of business in the summer, then no, it's a good start. And obviously Ipswich there as well, similar to Wigan, bringing a lot of players in, have only managed to draw today.
That's the League One table. There we go then. That's how things stand. I don't think we'll look too much into the league table for the first couple of weeks.
So give it, a lot of people say, give it 5 to 10 games really in that period really. But a lot of games in August and you want a good solid start.
What do you think the manager will think about today's performance? We'll hear from him, of course, at some point on the club channels. He'll be speaking to the official website, and I'll be on the club social media, so keep an eye out for that. We don't know if we're going to get a post-game interview with the player. These things just are quite fluid here at SFC Live. If we get one, we'll let you know. If we don't get one, just stay tuned to sfc.com and the social media channels, and you'll get whatever reaction you have from the game. But Lee Johnson has got to be happy about that. There was a lot of positives to take from the game, especially from those new players. If we could just bring out maybe Callum Doyle. We'll start with him.
Throughout the 90 minutes, solid, unfazed really by, I said before the game, 31,000 crowd today, 32,000, possibly the biggest crowd he's played in front of to date. Yeah. Didn't faze him at all, did he? I expected that, to be honest, just looking at him through.
And up against Charlie Wyke as well, who had a point to prove, and you know he's handy.
They did, and they had a good tussle, a couple of challenges going in amongst them. Free kick for Charlie, free kick for Callum. But he's going to expect that coming down here. You're playing in League One, where it's if he goes into playing in Man City in years to come, he's perhaps not going to head the ball and have those physical battles in a lot of games where Man City dominate games and it's on the floor a lot. But coming down here, as we've seen against McGuinness last week at Hull, a big experienced target man, he handled him well. Similar again today up against Charlie. Fantastic, and the calmness really at times in that second half, where we did get a little bit nervy towards the end. There's a couple just down below us there where it's dropped down. He hasn't panicked and slashed at it. He just took a touch, looked for a pass, and good solid league debut for him.
Next one I want you to have an opinion on is the captain, Corey Evans. A captain's performance?
Similar, Corey I thought he was well, and perhaps not a disservice really. I'm saying he comes into the team as a sitter, because when you're playing in that two, almost with Luke O'Nien, you rotate it really. If Corey can get forward, Luke can obviously sit in. More so when you play a 3-man in there, then you have got that official sitter really. But see there, second half, when Gwion Edwards got booked, he picked that loose ball up and he was driving forward, and then he won the foul. Gwion Edwards goes into the book, and he's done that as well. And once or twice during pre-season, he got a couple of shots away. So I do think he does like to get forward as well at times. But what I liked as well, he just calmed things down towards the end of the game there, where we were, as we said there, a little bit edgy, a little bit nervous, dropping almost to a back six. And, they're chucking a few balls forward. It drops down to him, and he just takes his touch, doesn't panic, doesn't slash it up the pitch when we haven't got an option. He just gets it under control, and it looks to pass out from the back. So he'll be another good addition, I think, throughout the course of the season.
Elliot Embleton was on loan at Blackpool last season. He's really staking his claim for that place in the middle of the pitch, isn't he? Yeah,
he has, and we spoke about him before the game there in pre-season. He's done well, got himself a couple of goals, a couple of assists today as well. First half, he was getting in, not as much perhaps today. It was tough for him, I think, at times to get on the ball. But when he did, the ball from McGeady comes in, he's getting in the box there. He's got to make those numbers up. When he's playing in the 10, don't just be sitting off him. He's got to break lines and get in there to make up the numbers. Unfortunately, just couldn't quite get up to the top of his jump to meet the ball when it came in from Aidan. Then he gets that shot away, doesn't it? Second phase after Gooch had done well. He caught it sweet. They got the block on the line. So another good positive display from Elliot as well, coming back into the side. But he knows as well that Pritchard, that's his preferred position. I think he's coming in with experience in the Championship, Premier League. So he knows when he's fit, if he's not on his game, he's going to be under pressure for him coming and taking the shirt. But that's how it should be for a club like Sunderland in League One. You want competition for places throughout the pitch.
We could go through the side, I suppose, for the next 10, 15, 30 minutes if we wanted to, but we're going to take some hashtag Ask Danny's, if that's all right with yourself. So he's the first one here. And this one's from Oscar. Says, do you think Winchester could do a job at right back all season? Seems to be having one of his best games today. Before we talk about Winchester, or before you can start with Winchester, but Dan Neil as well, a word for him at left back.
Yeah, excellent, and for Dan as well. Obviously, they're both centre midfielders. Dan's younger; he's still finding his way in the game at this level, and then to be asked to go and play at left back on his weaker left foot as well. But it's a big ask for him. But he looks unfazed, like Callum have said there, young lad coming in. Dan just got on with it, played a couple of nice balls actually first off with the outside of his right foot down that channel. Defensively done well, got caught once or twice, but that happens to the best of them. You know, seasoned pros and fullbacks, that happens.
And Winchester went off, it looks like a little bit of a pull in his back maybe or something.
Yeah, possibly. I thought he'd done well first half, especially he was getting forward well, supporting Lyndon Gooch, getting into the box. As we've seen that in Harrogate as well, he'll like that. And I think the manager's perhaps given them licence to go and join in. He'll say, we've got numbers behind the ball. As I said, Corey Evans is up more often than not. He'll be the sitting one out of him and Luke O'Nien. He'll slot across. If Winchester's getting forward down the right-hand side, he can come across and fill in for him. And then just second half, obviously, he got the yellow card and he went flying in with that loose ball. Then he picked up his injury. Hopefully he's okay. But in terms of seeing him out there for the whole of the season, I'm not sure. Don't get me wrong, he could do a job, but I think if you're asking the fans, they want to see some natural fullbacks coming in. As you see there, he's gone off injured. Now as it stands there, who do we play at fullback? You've got Lyndon Gooch went and played there.
Kenton Richardson played a lot of pre-season games.
Has he been given a squad number? I'm not sure. You've got Ollie Younger who can come in, but then you're having to jiggle around, unnatural positions for these players, which we don't want to, at the start of a season. Yes, we had it last year, but that was as we were going through the season. Luke O'Nien going to play in centre half, Max Power going to right back, but you don't want to see that in the second, third game of the season, which is why we obviously need to get numbers in, and I'm sure, as we said before, that the recruitment team are working hard now maybe from today onwards, looking at getting these numbers in and getting some bodies in.
Let's take the next hashtag Ask Danny then. This one's off Keith, who says, how many players do we need to have 10 or more goals to get promoted? How many do we currently have that can do this? Well, that was interesting because I thought this afternoon, Danny, that we had options all over the pitch and we had shots from different players from around. And we haven't spoke about him that much yet, but Ross Stewart was brilliant this afternoon.
He was, just his shift alone, really. Take his goal out of it, and as I said there, he deserved his goal for the work rate and his effort he's put in there, and at times he almost becomes isolated.
But where's the rest of the goals coming from?
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. If Ross can get you around 15 to 20 goals, I think the manager and the fans would be delighted with that, but that's where we were at last year with Charlie getting 30 odd, and then it was too big a gulf really coming down to, I think Grant was next on 6 or 7.
And many of them were penalties.
Many penalties, yeah, so we need to fill that void. I think I go back to Hull, you're looking at last there, Malik Wilkes, I think he was 19, then they had someone else on 18, they had a couple of 13, so that's what we need to be at this year. Aidan McGeady, 10 to 12 goals and his assists obviously. Lyndon Gooch can get up around them figures. Elliot Embleton playing in there, if he can get around 10 goals, which he should be getting, I think he's capable of that. Aidan O'Brien coming off the bench, Will Grigg have got these. We've got lads there who need to be contributing and getting in and around those 8 to 10 goals, as you say, between 5 players. There's 50 odd goals for you, and then your main man. And whether we are still looking at bringing another striker in, obviously nobody's got the number 9. We've touched on squad numbers. That why hasn't Ross Stewart been given the number 9? Maybe he's asked for number 14. I don't know. We'll have to ask him if he wanted number 14. But when you see the squad numbers which are available, 7 has not been taken, 9's not been taken. Obviously 5's there. We know we need fullbacks, so you can look at these things and that. But of course we need recruitments. We need 2, 3 fullbacks. Maybe another centre half, depending on how far Jamajli is. We've got the 3 at the minute. Bailey Wright on the bench today, and possibly another striker. Depending, is Will Grigg going to stay? He was obviously on the bench today, didn't get on. But if he's around, but I still think maybe can we go out and get another striker as well.
Let's move on to the next one, please. This one is from Oliver, I think it says. What are your thoughts on Stuart's performance today? Well, we touched upon it.
Is that Stewart as in Ross Stewart, but spelt wrong, possibly? Yeah,
probably,
I was thinking Stewart there, yeah. No, excellent, as we've said there. Not just, it's a strange one. If you didn't know Ross Stewart, I think coming to a game to watch him, you'd think, oh, he looks like a 6'5" lump. Just shell the ball up to him and he'll battle away. But looking at him now, he looks more than that. He'll run channels for you. He's isolated at times. He looks almost though he's happy to play the lone striker role. And if he does drop in, and his touch was good at times today, balls were coming fizzed into him in and around the halfway line, and he was taking a good touch, bringing players into play. The 1 second half as well that Lyndon Gooch got in. Lyndon perhaps could have took the chance first. Do you remember it now? It come to Ross. He waited it. Lyndon rolled his man, and he took another. He could have. So he's bringing players into play. He wins. Probably I haven't seen his figures in terms of it. Probably 85% of his headers today. Them little flick-ons down the line as well. He's getting sandwiched there. They've got a screener, someone behind him because of his height there. He can just glance balls on. And I think the goals will come. He's scored against Hull last week. He's got his goal again today. And we know what strikers like. confidence comes from scoring goals. So hopefully that continues for him as well.
Okay, then let's have another one. This one's a bit different, someone's said. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Happy birthday, Danny Collins, our commentator. In every game that season he plays, he wore short 2002 to 2009 to 2010 season and was part of the Welsh birthday team. What's that mean? This is from Argentina, so that's why it's probably a little bit broken down in English. There were mentioned for the Argentinian supporters branch, and maybe a word on that mullet at the back there, Danny, please.
Yeah, obviously a questionable hairstyle back in the day, I've got to agree, but these things happen. I'm not the only one, you know.
Celebrating your birthday though, yesterday, how was that?
Yeah, a quietish one really. Obviously I've had 40 previous to yesterday, so you know, you sort of like them a bit low key when you get older, don't you? But no, it's good. I actually I got involved in the Scottish Sunderland supporters branch. Actually, I got asked to do it a month or so ago. Forgotten all about it, and then obviously that came up a couple of days ago. So yeah, I went on the Zoom, a bit of a Q&A last night with the Scottish supporters branch, but it was good. An hour or so on chat with them.
Perfect way to celebrate your 41st birthday.
And then to celebrate it today with 3 points.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly, being in the Stadium of Light with a 30-odd thousand Sunderland supporters, so it was good.
Okay then, let's have another one then. It's for Glenn on the penultimate one. He says, I guess he's asking you, do you think Dan Neil was unfairly exposed a couple of times and that we may see a genuine left-back come into the club? Dan Neil clearly has real quality, but not as a left-back.
Maybe a bit harsh. I just said there a minute ago, the best fullbacks get skinned from time to time. You know, I thought, you know, their best player for me was Callum Lang. He was sharp and lively. I remember down at their place as well, he scored, I think, their first goal. And he was lively down there. So I said to you before, this lad's quite good. He's gone under the radar. He's obviously already been there. I think he's only 20, 21. And he took a couple of good touches first half there. And Dan will learn from that. You know, he's on about there almost writing Dan off as a left back. And of course, Dan doesn't want to be out there. But if you say to Dan, do you want to go and play left back, or do you maybe want to sit on the bench? He's going to, Gaffer will go and do a job for you at left back.
Yeah, we know how he's very keen to get in this Sunderland side. A couple of times over the last couple of seasons, we've seen him in the car park, haven't we?
Yeah,
and he's been so frustrated not to get on.
He was, yeah. We sort of right down and he sort of puffed his cheeks. He was a bit disappointed he hadn't got on in one of the games, but because he had a taster last year, and even in pre-season, I'd say in the top 3-4 performance in pre-season, in centre midfield as well.
He looks so easy and comfortable on the ball, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, people have questioned it because he's 19, coming up 20, isn't he, in a couple of months' time, I think, Dan. But again, another one who looks unfazed when the ball comes into him, receives it in good areas, and he's opening himself up when he's receiving it, and he's looking to play forward through the lines. It'd be interesting to see what happens if we do get a fullback in the next week or two, or whenever before the window closes, because it'd be unfortunate for Dan that he may come out of the team if the gaffer wants a natural left back to go in there. And then does he go into midfield, and then he's got to fight for a place where we're quite well stocked in terms of Corey Evans, you know, Luke O'Nine's gone back in there.
Yeah.
So that you've got those two in there really. Carl Winchester will want to be going back in there at some stage as well if we get a right back in as well. But it's good for him. And then what happens to him then? Is he happy to be around it, in and around the squad? Yes, we know we're gonna have 50+ games with the Papa Johns again, and you know, the League Cup, the FA Cup, and so we're going to be 50+ games. So we need him in and around it for me. Yeah. People might say, will it do him good to go out on loan to maybe a League 2 club and to get some games? But I'm sure if you ask him, he'll want to be here fighting for the place. And from what I've seen from him so far towards last season, the end of last season, and from so far in pre-season, I'd like him to stay around and be in and around it, pushing for a place.
Let's have the final hashtag Ask Danny, please. This one says, have you ever seen a more exciting centre-back at 17 than Callum Doyle?
Probably not, no, thinking about it. It's you know, off the top of my head, not really so. And you don't see him as a 17-year-old either, do you? It's weird, you're looking at him.
There was little things he did throughout the game, like holding on to the ball when he gave away a free kick, and that wasn't very often at all. But that showed experience beyond his years. Yeah. Coming through challenges with Charlie Wyke, a very experienced League One striker, looking unfazed as well, coming out on top as well of those challenges, winning headers, playing with the ball at his feet, coming out with the ball as well, was something you love to see from central defenders.
Of course you do, especially playing this level, because he's used to that, I'm guessing, from Man City, where from first team right the way down, that's how they want to play, that's their structure, you know, they dominate the ball, don't they? So he'll be used to that, I'm sure, even at his age group, really, under 18s there. But coming here now, as you say there was just that one, wasn't it? It was an awkward ball dropping over him. Gave the free kick away. Yep. Doesn't panic, just took the ball, jogs back in, lets everything settle down, you know, gets us organised, then rolls the ball back to them. But no, he's been fantastic. You know, don't want to put too much pressure on him either. That's the same thing, because I'm sure there will be a game where he maybe makes 1 or 2 mistakes. It's how he reacts from that. But as you say, from seeing him, so we've only seen him 5 or 6 times already. His first league game today, wasn't overawed by the crowd coming in here. Just enjoyed it, calm on the ball. And I think Flanagan done well as well alongside him. You know, it's almost you forget because he's the new lad coming in, and you forget about Flanagan because he's been here for a couple of seasons now. But I'd give him praise as well because I thought he'd done well as well alongside him today. But no, long may it continue. And he's 17 as well. You'd expect, you know, a 17-year-old kid coming here. Not just the way he plays the game, but the way he looks as well. We've said it before. I walked past him in the car park last week, and
big lad.
I'm looking up to him. I'm 6 foot, nearly 6'3" myself, like, and he's probably still got some growing to do as well. So,
scary.
You know, as a centre forward, you're not going to enjoy coming up against him when he's, you know, going to be about 6'8" probably in about 2 or 3 years' time.
He could grow throughout the season. By the end of the season, he could be.
You know, probably 15 stone.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got a good career ahead of him. Looking at him, I think, but hopefully he can prove that here this season as well.
First impressions good.
Exactly that, yeah, exactly that.
Okay then, that's probably it for this evening's programme. We hope you enjoyed the game as much as we did here at the stadium. A fantastic afternoon for Sunderland fans back in the ground, and they've seen a win as well on the opening game of this season. Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll be back on our next game, which check notes will be the Port Vale game
Tuesday night
in the Papa John's Trophy, as Sunderland will try and defend their title in that one. That's it for us from the Stadium Light, though. From myself, Frankie Francis, and Danny Collins. Let's go bye.
Bye for now.